I think it is an important victory for our ongoing efforts to create a more rational, a more manageable, and ultimately a more effective and fair system to manage refugee and asylum seekers to South Africa. This is a case that the Department of Home Affairs led. We led the argument in November of last year and really appealed what the Supreme Court initially had ruled, which would have really created a situation where individuals have multiple bites at the cherry, and where effectively you could abuse the system by constantly submitting new applications without regard to the fact that the original application had gone through a process and been rejected. So I think that this is a very significant moment. It also fits in with some of the other reforms that we are working on. If you recall, the Cabinet recently approved the revised white paper on citizenship, immigration and refugee protection, which includes the first safety principle, and in a similar vein argues that South Africa cannot have a situation where people pick and choose only our country in the region of destination as their destination of choice, and then have this revolving door of basically never being able to conclude that someone does not have a valid asylum claim. So that has been averted, and I think that is an important moment for us in building a more rational system.
So what happens in a case where someone applies for asylum while they're going through that process, and we know it can take a long time, their home country becomes too dangerous for them to go back? Is there a system in the law to deal with that?
Well, I think firstly, of course, the process of first application remains in place. So once the application is submitted, it must be assessed on its merits. There's the option of the appeal. And really what we need to do is have a much more efficient system with more resources to reduce the turnaround times of those applications. So that's really a big part of the solution to your scenario, because it's premised on so much time elapsing that circumstances change. So that's also why the white paper introduces the concept of virtual refugee reception interviews. It wants to move facilities to the border so that we're able to really speed up the way in which these applications are processed. That's one part of the solution. But the other part that often goes unsaid, and which I think we have to confront, is that South Africa is not the only safe country in the region. And you'll often find people coming to South Africa after they've been rejected for asylum claims in other countries. And I think this is the change, is to shift this practice where South Africa is viewed as a place where it's just a free-for-all and everything goes. That is clearly changing. It is changing because of this case we've won in the ConCourt. It's changing because of the white paper. And yes, we continue to work on having more efficient processes so that we have quicker turnaround times and those kind of situations don't arise.
Minister, you would have seen the protests against illegal immigrants, the March and March movement. There are one or two political parties that join them. They've been quite big protests in some places, sometimes with a bit of violence, unfortunately. We all know how difficult it is to defend our borders, and we all sort of understand some of the historical reasons for that. Is there a plan at all to deal with this? I know we have the new laws that might change things, but you must know, and I presume government knows, how angry people are about this.
Well, the reform process is in full flight, Stephen. That's the reality. So as much as people are frustrated over many years and decades of problems that were manifesting, I think it's important to also understand the work that has been going on really at light speed over the course of this 7th administration. If you look at the electronic travel authorization that is recording biometrics for foreigners and that we are systematically scaling up to ensure that no one can be invisible in our country as a foreigner. If you look at the white paper that I've mentioned and the legal reforms that are coming there, if you look at our work to move beyond the green ID book, to get people access to the smart ID so that we're no longer reliant on the green ID book, which is the key source of identity theft. Those are all examples of a fundamental reconstruction and rebuilding of our immigration system in South Africa. And I think there's another important point to make from today's judgment. That is to say that when we commit ourselves to the rule of law, in other words, we are guided by what the Constitution says, by what our legal framework says, we can do something about this problem. It's not correct to say that when you follow the rule of law, that it automatically leads to a situation that basically overwhelms the country. That has been proven in today's victory by Home Affairs, and I think it vindicates our approach that we're saying, yes, of course we have to restore rule of law, not only at the border environment, but more broadly in South Africa, and we as Home Affairs take that work seriously, but we do it in a manner that upholds and vindicates our constitution rather than undermining it.